Welcome, everyone, to Mike North's press conference brought to you by Rahl Jewelers. And you can see on our bottom ticker there that Rahl Jewelers is located in Hoffman Estates. Their phone number is 847-765-3000, or visit their website, Rahl Jewelers. And they're an easy drive up in Hoffman Estates right off the expressway. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
Well, we're the sparkles you can see from miles away, of course.
Nice.
God bless Brad and Ryan and everybody over there. We love you very much. We have projects that we're doing with you, and we couldn't be happier to be associated with one of the best jewelry stores, not jewelry stores, jewel empires in America today. So we love you. And like I said, even if you're driving around at night, even if it's not open, you see sparkles. So check them out at Rahl Jewelers. And we're going to start off this Mike North presser with a few statements that I have to make about this team. Then Eldo, of course, Eldo Gandia, the podfather, if you will jump in, and then we'll take all your questions, and I'll field every question you have. Eldo can read them to me. And we want full participation on this because today is an eventful day. It's the day that I've never been lower as a Chicago Bear fan in 63 years. It's a day that I have predicted that the 1969 Bears played this team, they'd win 13-9. People say, how can you say that? Well, because we actually had players named Sayers, Buffon, Butkus, Ed Obradovich, guys that could produce, but there was no free agency at the time. So that is something that I'd like to tell everybody right now. When I compare teams, I look with my own eyes. I don't play the political game. I want to win, and I feel that we don't have the apparatus from top to bottom to win. So I'll tell you exactly what I would do. The first thing I would do is next year offer Jim Harbaugh or Deion Sanders, like I said, 1% of ownership if I could talk ownership into it, which would be $60 million on a $6 billion type of football team. $50 million if it's $5 billion. Plus, I'd give them a salary. Plus, I'd put them, one of the two, in charge of football operations, okay? Now, people say, well, what kind of background do you have? Well, I've been touted in business from restaurants to radio to TV. I've done very well with my career, and I want to see the Chicago Bears do very well in the limited time we all have on this earth. And I did not see anything yesterday that would not lend me to believe to clean out everybody's locker. Everybody's. And that means high salaried players like Eddie Jackson. That means people that are going through the motions at times. That means the quarterback who's not good enough. Just isn't. That's just the fact. And for folks that want to hold out, that want to hold out to their stubbornness about what they want to see instead of what they're actually seeing, then keep going, because you cannot criticize a front office when you're playing along with them. So don't say anything then. Just say, we like Poles and Eberflus. This is great. They're going to come around. That's been a story told forever. I could get us back in the playoffs in 3 years. Easily. But you got to make right decisions up top. And for Bill Polian to be missing in action right now, when he was the guy who was supposed to be the search committee guy who gave his two guys from Indianapolis jobs that were junior executives at best. One to DC, who on the last game as the defensive coordinator blew it for a chance to get Indianapolis into the playoffs. And the other is Ryan Poles. Both men were touted for what reason, I don't know why. I would say this. What other football program said they have to have those two to run their show? Never. So when I say we need an outsider, people go, well, Polian was an outsider. No, he wasn't. He's probably invited over to the McCaskies for Thanksgiving. Okay? So it's a joke. People I didn't want? Hey, are you okay over there, kid?
Yes, sorry.
It's okay. People I didn't want over. Don't get us started on that one again. Remember those days?
Oh, yeah.
People I didn't want. I didn't want Wannstedt. I didn't want Cutler. I didn't want Glennon. I didn't want Foles. I didn't want Fields. I didn't want Dalton. I just wanted one guy. I didn't want to. I will say this. I cannot believe. Here's another move. Here's another move we made. And Aldo, you can come back on the screen and we will take your calls. Mm-hmm. How do you let Roquan Smith go and then bring in Edmonds for basically a little less money? And you had a kid that was homegrown for you at 26 years of age. Then you let go of your major blocking back. Okay. And a guy that averages 4 yards a carry and is going to be playing on your rival, Detroit Lions, the better team. You let him go. Then you let go of Mitch. Then you let go of other people. We're not just talking about Mitch. We're talking about a bunch of people. Then you signed Eddie Jackson to a huge deal that he'll never justify. Cole Kmet now going through some of the motions, getting a new deal. So there's disconnect. There's disconnect from top to bottom. And when you hear Eberflus say, we're going to get it right, we got it, things we got to address. It's Pedro Eberflus all over again, Al. And I don't know about you, but in my opinion, I've seen every Bear team since 1962. Maybe the 70 teams lose to this team if it's run right. But I've never seen a team that was expected. Look, Justin Fields threw for 99 yards. That's his third under 100-yard game in the last 2 seasons. Totally unacceptable for a professional quarterback, my friend.
Yeah, I'm surprised that you have not said that you would, and people that you know very well who have played for this team and their opinion would be valued, that you wouldn't bring in like a Jim McMahon and talk to him about what should be done, and some other former players who are watching the current state, the Chicago Bears organization, and are just livid with what's happened to the organization that they played for.
That's great you brought that up, because this morning, I mean, I'm not telling you every plan that I would make, but this morning, Al, and Michael Henneman says, and we will take all your questions or any of your statements, this team is an unfunny joke. It is. It's a tragedy. But there's no doubt about it. But I want everybody, talking to Jim McMahon, fine. I don't even know if Jim McMahon wants to be in the middle of all this. Jim McMahon likes to show people what the 85 Bears did on social media and his experiences, but it's very rare, unless you listen to Obradovich and Hampton, that you'll hear outsiders chime in. And if they're outsiders, Al, not outsiders, insiders. If you're a Bear, see these shirts? This would be next year's Bear shirts for the coaches. Okay,
nice,
very nice with the yellow orange trim.
Classy.
Oh, thank you, my friend. But my whole point is, I talked to Al Harris 2 years ago, my good friend Al Harris, and he says, Mike, Justin Fields is a can't miss. So when you talk to former Bears, you're going to talk to former Bears that think one way and think the other way. I talked to Gary Fensick and others that have different opinions of the Chicago Bears team. But that doesn't mean you don't listen. And I don't think the Bears listen. Also, the PR disaster that happened last week. People often tell me, I had somebody say to me, you were right, Mike. I should have seen this coming. Maybe we should have kept Trubisky. I go, listen, if you listen to AM 1000 on the Odds Couple, or you've been a subscriber on this wonderful channel that Aldo Gandia has turned into a mini powerhouse, ladies and gentlemen, a mini powerhouse where you got people wanting to come and give their opinions. And 90% of them are ball washers, but that doesn't mean they don't love their team. The other 10%, I'll include me and a few other people, but here's what there's something for everybody here. If you've listened to me, you know I haven't liked this from the beginning. And Aldo hasn't liked a lot of stuff either. So this should come as no surprise to anybody from the bar room or anybody that listens to the award-winning Odds Couple show and podcast, which is going great. So that's where I would go, Al. I would take outside opinions, but at the end of the day, it's like 10 people giving you hitting tips when you're in a slump. You know what ends up happening? Oh, there's a foul ball to the catcher, Johnny. And
Yeah.
because the guy's already trying to swing 9 different ways that he's been told. You got to have your gut instinct. I think my record of judging talent and I've made some mistakes. I've said it. But for instance, people liked all those quarterbacks. The only quarterbacks I liked of it from way back in the day are Kyle Orton. I liked McCown and I liked Mitch. And you know what? They could stand with any of the quarterbacks that I named off that I don't like or shouldn't have been brought in. So it's depending. It's depending on how you build a team. I can't believe we got rid of Roll Smith and then right around the corner we bring in an outsider and pay him $72 million to $80 million. That's a slap in the face if you're a guy that was brought up through this organization. Maybe there was some inner turmoil with these people, but I thought Roquan Smith, and they haven't replaced him. They haven't replaced Roquan Smith. This defense is, I think, easily the worst defense in the Bear history that I have. Even the bad teams, the 70 teams, the 69 team, they would hurt you, and you would remember you were in a game.
All right, Zach wants to challenge you on the Roquan Smith situation. He says, we offer $20 million. Baltimore offers $20 million and a ham sandwich. Don't blame Poles for Roquan. He didn't want to be here. Applaud him for getting back something in a lost season.
You know what? I hear people. Why is it that Chicago teams can never, with a new regime at least, come in and patch things up? He didn't want to be here because of the past regime. I mean, so this nonsense that he didn't want to be here and all the counterfeit stuff that I hear, all the BS. I'll give you a perfect example. With Eldo, I don't need, let's bring back some tape cuts because Eldo was here. You know what I told Eldo? I'll give a perfect example. Was I right? Was I wrong? Or was I both? I'll give you one I was right on both and wrong. Jordy Nelson, Allen Robinson. First year, I said, bring in Jordy for 1 year. I wouldn't bring in Allen Robinson. I was right. He had better stats. The next 2 years, I was wrong. Allen Robinson has 98 catches 1 year, 102 catches another year with Mitch Trubisky for 200 catches total. And then I got to hear the PR spin of Allen Robinson saying, we're excited for the new quarterback. And that year, he catches 36 balls in 12 games, and we're told he can't play anymore, and he's shuttled off to somewhere else. So that's my point about this, all the spinning and everything else. And Roquan Smith, look, all I'm saying, if you're going to replace a guy like that and pay him the same amount, then maybe you should have kept him. Because you know what? What was wrong? Why didn't they get rid of Fields? They inherited him. Why didn't they? I mean, to me, that you didn't even have him compete for his job. You didn't bring anybody in for his job to try to take it. Put pressure on him to get better. Put pressure on him to figure things out. They didn't do that. And now I'm hearing the Cleveland coach and other coaches saying, if I had to do it over next year, we'll play more starters in the preseason. But you guys are contenders. We didn't play our starters in the preseason like we were a playoff contending or Super Bowl team. So I understand where everybody's frustrated, but I think it's the way the organization's run, Al. You know that. They've never run a good organization over there since the 80s when they let people run it.
The record, the one-loss record under George McCaskey's leadership as chairman is abhorrent. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it is putrid.
Joe, it's that bad. Al don't even want to look.
Yeah, I won't even look it up because I don't want my acid reflex will start to act up.
Oh my God, don't do that.
Joe Michael, who is watching on our Facebook page, thank you very much, Joe. What Harbaugh or Sanders? What are their offensive qualifications that stand out to improve this terrible team?
Well, I got to tell you, I'm going to give you something on everything. First of all, the propaganda going out over the TV sports market is appalling. There is a show called Frankly Speaking on Fox Sports 1. And I'm flipping through yesterday. I'm watching, I bet the Yankees game. Winner. I bet the Yankees game. I'm flipping through during a commercial, and I see a panel, Joy Taylor with 3 other guys. Joy Taylor, if you know who Joy Taylor is, very informed,
Yes.
very beautiful lady. She knows her business and she runs that show, and she's got a lot of opinions. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But she said, well, the pros are different. You can pick up, and Sam Acho's on there too, who I like.
Yes, me too.
I like Sam. He's been on the bar room.
Emmanuel, isn't it? Emmanuel.
Oh yeah, Emmanuel. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I know there was a Sam Acho, but I think he was a hitman for the mob.
Ow! Ow!
Yeah,
I gotta have a sound effect for that.
Yeah. Emmanuel, great. He's great. And here a couple things I heard. And Joy, I believe, said, well, you know what? It's not like the NFL where you can pick up a couple players and get healthy. Whoa, Joy, transfer portal. Deion Sanders got rid of all 80 guys.
Mm-hmm.
They said, Coach, I'm ready to play. You don't know how to play. You're gone. He got a brand new team in there, so I don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that. And then
Mm-hmm.
and then the other stuff where the media has to stand up for Deion Sanders because some coach said, hey, we're in for wins, not for clicks. You're actually worried that Deion Sanders can't handle that kind of trash talk? And
Mm-hmm.
and I want to also hear this nonsense I'm hearing that people want to see Deion Sanders lose. I didn't stay up till 11 o'clock last week to watch him lose. He's one of my choices for Bear head coach. He's turned around a program that was the worst in football in 1 year, and he wasn't afraid to tell them, you all suck, get out of here. I'll clean it. And that's what I'd have him do with the Bears. You have the power to do that. You don't bring him in as a coach. He's not Eberflus. And you don't bring Harbaugh in as a coach. Both those men know more about the pro game than anybody at the top at Hallis Hall, period.
Pepe wants to know your opinions about Fields' struggles. Is it more on him or on the coaching staff?
Both. They're trying to see if he could throw from the pocket. He can't throw from the pocket. So he got frustrated last week, had to call a press conference after a press conference, trying to blame other people. Then you see the overhead video, some of it here on the bar room, if you tune in, expertly shot of overhead videos where there's 3 guys open. You see DJ Moore going, would somebody please throw me the ball? So it's both. It's not going to work. He would not be my quarterback next year, and I would not pick up his 5th-year option. If you didn't pick up Mitch's, how can you pick up this guy's? I mean, this guy is just it's not going to happen for him. You got to have it here. I'll give you a perfect example. Respect everybody at the bar room. I have never badmouthed anybody. Ever. Respect everybody's opinion. I've been called a couple names, but I bring that out in people. I bring out the worst in people. But I'm going to tell you right now, I heard, and this was last week, because we cover it here on this show, this press conference. We get to, when Aldo brought up to me, it's about me having that gut for 31 years and knowing the Bears since I was a kid. Well, Mike, I think it's personal for that defensive coordinator, and Coach Gabriel said the same thing. And you know what? Usually that would be the case. But the Chicago Bears use it as a stiff arm when things go wrong. And unfortunately, I have a lot more respect, even for some journalists, where journalism and in Chicago, sports journalism and people that run the Bears are at the lowest in popularity.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, you can't pull the wool over my eyes. You can't. I knew as soon as Aldo, I didn't even know about it. And Aldo says, oh, wait a minute. It's personal. What's personal? He's a young guy, you know. And then we hear there's the FBI involved, and we hear Peanut Tillman's involved. And then I hear Brad Biggs say, this isn't the story I heard for 3 days. And then Adam Johns or Adam Hogue. I think they got to get together and do some sort of name change. I get them mixed up. But one of the two said, come on, be straight. So we know there's more to this story. So I just want to know, once it comes out completely, what are the Bears going to say? We didn't know anything about it. The fact you can't come clean. Thank you, Jamel. I was right. The fact you can't come clean to your fan base because a guy's got a problem and you're trying to say it's a family issue. Yeah. If the family's in probably upheaval because of maybe some of the stuff that's happened. So the Blackhawks did this. I wonder how many personal days in 2010 Kyle Beach had to take that nobody was allowed to question. And then you find out about a scandal 13 years later. So the Bear management and people that cover the Bears, a little more respect in my heart because they're leaking out the best they can. There's more to the story. What do you think, Al?
I totally agree with you. And while I understand that, when you get human resources involved, they're the ones that tell you, don't say anything publicly. Don't say anything publicly. But Bears fans were at least allowed this. We have been informed by human resources not to comment on the Alan Williams situation, so it is closed. I will not answer any of your questions because that's what you got to do from a legal standpoint, right?
Yeah.
But to say it's a personal issue when we know you're lying. You didn't even offer a statement saying we hope you feel better.
And with all respect to the people that thought, including my buddy Coach Gabriel, he's an NFL guy, and usually there's health involved. But here's another thing. When did it become like in the National Hockey League? He's got an upper body injury. Just tell us what the hell it is. He's got a lower body injury. Listen, George Brett.
Don't comment on that. If you're listening on the audio podcast, we had a comment on the screen about what Alan Williams.
Somebody's whacking off in the office.
Maybe Alan Williams was whacking off in his office.
Yeah,
we don't know nothing.
Very good. A1. What to get the sad clown. That's what I am today with the Bears. To belly laugh. During the middle of a Bear show. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's three things that are a disaster. Bears post-game shows, the Bill Belichick show, and the Nick Saban show. After you listen to those three, you just want to walk off a pier. Thank you, Island Man. Island Man.
I love it.
You gotta get him, Island Man. Yeah. God, I love Elton John. We need a man like Elton John to sing us a song right now. But I'm going to tell you, thank you for that. I'm a Bear fan 63 years. I don't care if I get. I don't. It's the bottom line. It's a low point. I clean out everybody. They're all gone next year.
Yeah,
all including our absentee president, who screwed up the Big Ten during COVID, who got a job because he got Minnesota stadium. Okay, where's the stadium now? You were brought here for that. I didn't think it could get worse after Ted Phillips, but I'm ready to get him back. My God, what's going on? These guys are a bunch of, are you kidding? Where is Kevin Warren? Does anybody where's Kevin Warren? You're the president. Make a comment. Tell somebody something.
What would you want him to say? What would you want Kevin Warren to say?
We will address the situation with our defensive coordinator at another time. We have to be more upright. We understand there was some misinformation brought out early, and there's, like Mike North said in the bar room, I don't know if any of you listen. I do. Mike North told Eldo Gandia straight out, lack of frankness leads to, and Eldo will remember this word because I figured it out what it meant about 2 weeks ago when I looked it up, conjecture. And what have we heard? Right here on this show last week, conjecture. Thank you, Torian. It's not easy. It's not easy to be a Bear fan, but it's easy to outmaneuver Bear executives and front office and players. These guys were told to shoot their mouths off during the summer that they were going to win the division. And all of a sudden now, they're the worst team in football today, according to certain rankings. And here's the best one before we get back to your questions, which I'll take and entertain. I look good in this. I'd be good, at least a consultant to the family.
Yeah, I agree. You do look good in that shirt.
I guessed right almost every time. What are you going to do? Go up to the staff table and say, bring JoJo over here. I'm not pining for a job. I've invested my whole life in this team. You guys, you woke up and said, Muggs died? Yippee! I mean, come on. And then I hear about how many people in the family? Sorry, pal. I hate to make you laugh. How many people in the family, the McCaskey family, get shares?
I think it's 4 or 5.
I think Ryan owns 20%. All this nonsense. We don't even know the breakdown.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
But let's say that, right? Let's say it's 70%. Okay. I just said one share's worth 60 million. I mean, how much look, you're a McCaskey, you're 70. I need 500 million to live on. No, we need a quarterback. We need a linebacker. And we need some people that know how to judge it.
Okay, back to our questions here. We got an interesting one. One of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen wear a Bears uniform is being brought up here, and I'm looking for the question. Here it is. It's from Bearstown 19 show, one of my good buddies. Mike, do you compare Cade McNown to Justin Fields? He does.
Yes, except it was a different time where for some reason the media didn't pick sides at that time. Ditka said that Cade McNown was more ready than anybody in that draft, including Donovan McNabb. And it was a sad mistake. That I own up to 100%. I also made a mistake with Curtis Enos. Not everybody's right for every team. I'll give everybody an example. Bob, our guy Abreu from the White Sox who went to Houston. Well, he's going to hit 20 home runs this year. He hit 15 last year. But he didn't have the year he wanted to have in his first year. But he was great with the White Sox.
Yeah.
I mean, when you trade people, you're trading them to a new situation. Steve Young, his first 3-4 years was 3-15 with the Tampa Bay Bucks. I was here. See, this is sad. When people go, well, what do you know? I was there. I was here. They said he was going to be a bust. Bill Walsh saved his career. The next thing you know, he's doing Monday Night Football and he's in the Hall of Fame. If Terry Bradshaw goes to the Bears in 69, he's not on Fox. He's injured after five years. I mean, my God, it would have been, he would have never won 4 Super Bowls with the Chicago Bears. Yeah, it would have never happened. And anybody thinks it would have is crazy, because no matter how good your quarterback is, the one thing that they've not decided, you lose guys like Akeem Hicks too, Danny Trevathan. These guys are all better than the guys I'm watching now. I mean, who was the one kid that we got rid of that was Leonard Floyd?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Leonard Floyd, Danny Trevathan. Now, maybe this Danny Trevathan, I don't know what he's doing now. I'm just telling you, when they were on the Bears, Roquan Smith, Danny Trevathan, Leonard Floyd couldn't break a pane of glass, and he goes somewhere else, and he got 2 sacks last week. These guys were all former Bears. Mitch, Montgomery, Roquan. And then I got to hear this year that the 2 corners we have that can't stay healthy for 1 quarter were like the reincarnation of Davey Witzel and Benny McRae from the 63 team. Are you kidding me? Mike Richardson and Leslie Frazier. Folks, I want all of you to know this. I've been dealing with you my whole life. I was built for this. 90% of you have other distractions. Let me do the heavy work. Will you please? Enough of your nonsense. Fields is great. MVP, 16-1. Hey, Nagy, he's great. Get rid of Trubisky. Nagy's an idiot. Oh, Mike, we should have kept Trubisky. Quit it. Let me handle it. I haven't been around this long. I have one. You know what? Poor Heidi. Poor Kay. Poor Karen. They have a drawer. The only Bear jersey they threw out was Mitch's. There's a drawer filled with 20 quarterback numbers. They took Mitch's and said, "You suck," and they kept. And every year, Karen, I know she's listening. See, this is what I have fun with. Every year she's got a new quarterback's number. And you know what? I'm so happy. All the QB1 profiles, for the most part, are gone. Are gone on Twitter. Oh, a couple will pop up going, but wait. And then, no, we're not waiting anymore.
Oh, my guy Terrain says that the Bears are worth $6.3 billion and growing. And then we got this follow-up. Chris asked the questions or makes a statement. I wish the McCaskies cared about
as much as I do and as much as Aldo does.
Right. So do you really think the McCaskies are apathetic about putting on a winner because they're just focused on the money that's coming in?
Well, let me ask you something. The fact that you're worth if I was worth 6.3 billion, okay, I'd be like DiBartolo was. I mean, I took 35 people to Italy. I made a lot of money in my life, but I took 35 people. Cost me over 130,000. Now I don't have McCaskey money. I had a lot. I have a lot of money, and I invested well, and I had a great radio career in TV. And I say my wife is a genius. We bought Starbucks in '93. But if I was worth $6 billion, the Bears are going to be king. They're going to be king one way or the other. And if I was worth if they are worth $6 billion, they should come see Mike. Enough. I've been laying out what the Bears should do for 30 years, and they've not listened. We got what? Since that time, since I came on to Score One, they know about me. We can't put him on a Bear show somewhere. He'll criticize us. I'm on a Bear show, and I'm on the Odds Couple. I'm just telling you, it's hard not to.
Yeah.
Make it like middle of the road. Are we going to be good or not? There's no more mystery here, folks. We're in big trouble. We're in big trouble now. I mean, think about this, Al. Denver lost last week 70-20. They're favored on the road.
I saw that.
There are people openly laughing on national TV about that. A team that lost by 50, that's given up 70 points, is favored in Chicago against the Bears.
Yeah. I'm going in reverse. I usually start laughing at the end of a terrible thought. Now I'm starting to laugh at the beginning and then working my way towards anger.
I'm telling you, man. It's just like it's a clown show. It's too bad. Look, you learn, and I'll give you an example. I brought up two of the Adams, Holger Johns, okay? Both of them. Good guys.
Indeed.
Jason Goff. See him on social. What's going on here? Fields has got to get it done. Lawrence Holmes. Oh my God. Said the same thing. It's not working. Sooner or later, these guys are pros. They can't keep going to bat for a guy. Because, I mean, even Carmen wanted to change. Now he's going, what? Because Vinny Parisi, I saw him the other day between the Sox rebuild and the Bears. He asked me the other day, what's your favorite third rail? Is it the Thorndale stop or is it the Howard Street stop? He just wants to go on the L tracks. He just wants to jump around the third rail, and if he trips, it's over.
That's funny.
I mean, he let him have it. He let him have it on the bar room.
Ravi,
everybody's learning, Al.
Yeah, really, exactly. On the job, unfortunately. Ravi says, since every week Fields loses trade value, what is the ultimate solution? Because you can't trade Fields now. You'll get a 5th or 6th or 7th round draft
Won't
pick.
even get that.
Maybe, right, exactly. Maybe not even. So what is the solution? Do you play Peterman?
What I would do, well, what I told Aldo, and I'm sticking to if I ran the football team, I would have said to the media at the beginning of the year, Justin Fields has 8 games to prove himself, because I said it right here. And if he doesn't have a good 8 games, we'll have to look in another direction. I'd say that at the beginning of the year, I'd let him know that. But see, now I'm hearing that people, are saying maybe 5 games if they don't beat Denver and this other team coming up. Washington. Then 5 games. No, give him 8 games. Give him 8 games, then, because I don't want him crying that he was unfairly, picked on. The coaching staff didn't give me a chance. Then I bring in the kid, the other two, let Peterman and the other guy play out the season. But it's almost like they want to lose so they can get the draft pick. But I wouldn't want Caleb Williams because they'd ruin him. I would rather go the Eric Kramer route if I had to get somewhere in 3 years.
Try to find a veteran quarterback.
Absolutely. Right. Eric Kramer walked in, bang, boom. 1995, I was like this. Throwing the ball downfield. Eric Kramer, I basically wasn't the hugest fan, but he comes in off the Detroit Lions scrap heap and had a memorable season. And look, we won with Rex Grossman. It's the whole football team. Our defensive line is horrible. Our defensive coordinator. How do you hire a guy that lost the last game of his career in Indianapolis to not make the playoffs and then make him head coach. I think the selections and the McCaskies have done the same thing that they've always done. They're meddling. That's it. And I still want to see where this Polian guy is.
Yeah.
I can't stand the guy.
He's hiding somewhere.
Oh my God. Oh God. I mean, here, think about this. He went to the Super Bowl. God bless him. He took over for John Butler in Buffalo. They went to Super Bowls. He lost them all. The guy went to only one Super Bowl. I mean, they only won one with Peyton Manning there.
With Peyton Manning,
he's supposed to be some sort of genius.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I ran a poll on the Barroom Network's X site, and the question was, my plan to salvage the Bears season is to begin to incorporate Tyson Bagent into the game plan. Justin Fields should still play every offensive snap, but only about 75% at quarterback. The other 25%, we see him at running back, we see him at wide receiver, we see him doing all sorts of creative things. And so I asked the question, what do you think? 68% said I'm nuts, and 31% I'm onto something. What do you say, Mike North?
Well, the one thing I won't do is I think I'll get a more of a reception than you gave me last week when the train was running and I reached my hand out and Bibi says, "Why are you weeping?" I go, "You didn't take my hand." My buddy, you didn't take my hand.
I tried.
And now we got this. So anyway, here's what I would do. I told everybody this. If they said you have to play with Justin Fields for 16 games, I'm bringing in Barry Switzer. I'm having him quarterback out of the shotgun, and I have the 3 running backs. I wouldn't have traded Montgomery. I would have kept Herbert, Montgomery, and then find another running back behind him and run out of the wishbone where you can roll out, throw, run. He can have more freedom. He's not going to be, but like Warren Sapp said this week, you think you can play outside the pocket? Good luck with that. You are going to get killed. And then this week of all weeks, and I had a good week, and I almost bet this. We heard he was going to run this way, throw a jump pass, do the Statue of Liberty. He was going to do a somersault down the field. The over-under for running yards was 55 yards. He didn't get it. I would have thought he'd get 100, that he'd say, you know what, let's let it all hang out. But it looked like he's just afraid to pull the trigger right now, period. But there's so many problems on this team. I can't pinpoint one position right now where, I mean, they look like a semi-pro team. They don't look like a professional football team right now.
Yeah.
They don't.
Paul Thomas says, my idea is stop it. It's not Pop Warner. Well, the Saints have been doing it with Taysom Hill for years now and very successfully.
Yes.
He's a great runner with the football. He can catch the football and he can throw a pass. Yeah. Give me a better idea, Paul. Give me a better idea.
All I'll say is I said, run. I didn't say you have to run every play out of the wishbone, but you could run. You could have 4 or 5 plays incorporated out of the 56, 60 you're going to run.
Right.
I mean, I saw Ron Turner. I'll never forget it. I tell this story all the time. He's on the score with me. And I said, why don't you have the quarterback, Stenstrom, you're welcome, Paul, God bless, stand back in a shotgun? Oh, no. Oh, no wild card. We can't do that. Wildcat, no. 2 weeks later, he's doing it. So it's a copycat league. I'm guaranteeing you. The passing game's all not that good right now anyway. Look at Baker Mayfield last night, 170. But nobody passes for under 100 yards in this day and age, and Fields has done it 3 times in 2 years.
Mark asked the question, hypothetically, if the Bears were to draft a quarterback next season and he refused to come to Chicago, what would happen? Because Caleb Williams' father said that, he might not go to
I wouldn't come here.
You wouldn't come here.
I wouldn't come here. I have to have a coaching staff that will get him to come here. That's why I have Deion Sanders or Jim Harbaugh.
Yes.
You bring Jim Harbaugh and Caleb Williams is coming. Hey, if you bring any coach, Lincoln Riley, his coach from USC, I don't care. I'm not saying the kid's even going to make it, but you have to look at that now. The Chicago Bears drafted an Ohio State quarterback who never develops a quarterback. Maybe Stroud might be the first. And then the Bears have never developed many quarterbacks. They develop them, and then they don't even know they did, like Mitch or like Harbaugh, and then they get rid of them, and then they, Mitch will someday look. Mitch makes $20 million, signed for $8 million. Fields makes $2 million, so they went cheap on that too. So I think if you bring in Deion Sanders or Harbaugh, all free agents will want to come. But now, would you go there if you're Allen? How could you, if DJ Moore? How could you have signed here? How could you have seen what's going on? Because they offered you $42 million guaranteed, my friend. $42 million. So you took it. Now you're going, what? I'm being used wrong. Give me a break.
Ravi says, if the Bears end up with the first overall draft pick, would you trade it for Mike Tomlin?
No. Mike Tomlin, they should have made the playoffs last year. Aldo knows this is a sore spot with me. Mitch was losing 10-6, and they pulled him, and then they lost the game. With Pickett, they ended up losing by 1 game. Now, maybe Mitch brings them back, but to put in a Green for the first time, rookie at halftime, I thought was misguided. Tomlin, though, would I bring him in? Pittsburgh wouldn't let him go. Cut it out. And why would he want to come here?
Yeah.
I love Bear fans. And, my guy, Greg Braggs. Greg, I love you, man. I love you. But he got mad at people that are saying, he keeps – I love Greg Braggs' videos.
Oh, yeah, he
was in the bar room.
Yes, he was.
Sylvie was on with Carmen and Yurko and Waddle. They promote the heck out of Greg. Greg's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
But Greg got mad because they said, listen, and I've said this on this show, and I didn't say it about Greg, you can't take 7-on-7 videos and have Justin Fields stand back there for 6 seconds. And once DJ Moore gets loose, throw the ball. Well, he got upset at him. Greg, don't bite. Those guys are good guys, but it's actually what's going on. It's not just you.
Yeah, I was surprised at Greg's reaction to that. Greg took offense to it. I'm like, well, it's true. You were.
And then Greg's on with Fox in the morning going, for people that think I'd never be here. I always rooted for him, but I never said, I wonder if Greg's going to make it or not. Greg
is a great talent.
Like De Niro did in, BB's told me this, like De Niro did in Goodfellas when the commandant is discussing the Lufthansa. Hey, take it easy. These guys all like you. But when you say you're the mayor of Meatball Island, and when you're running in to Soldier Field going, Packers suck, and then you get your ass kicked, you get tagged. Yeah. You got to learn how to take alligator skin, my friend.
Exactly.
Oh, my God. I'm the guy, the Allstate guy? One year I got it so bad from the media. The Allstate guy looked like he had successful facial surgery.
I love it. Yeah, Greg, by the way, when he was here at the bar room, he told me that he loved you because you inspired him. You went from a hot dog stand owner to, media superstardom, and that's what Greg is going from, bricklayer to
right. Hey, look, it's a great success story. I love him on Fox. I went through the whole gamut. It's beautiful.
Yep.
Yeah. It's okay. You're going to get criticized, Greg.
It's going to happen more and more as his popularity increases. Yes.
I mean, you know what? Big Aldo knows he's worked with top talent. No matter what you do,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Aldo worked with Walter Jacobson, right? And he got criticized. These guys were Emmy winners. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So cool.
I got a question here from Sports Chicago Style. He asked me, would picking up Justin Fields' 5th-year option make him more controllable contract-wise for trade value? No. Picking up his 5th-year option, he would be paid over $20 million. That's what the 5th-year option is. So I'm not sure a lot of teams would want to accept that contract, unless Fields' agent negotiated a deal and said, we will lower the $20 million, some type of working like that. But at $20 million a year, I'm not sure any team will pay Justin Fields that now.
I think if you're the Bears, you just let him go at the end of the year, unless things get better. And like I said, I did the smart thing. I'm asked to defend myself, but when I don't have to, because I've won the whole thing, the argument. I won it, but here's what I would sell. Give the man 8 games. Give him 8 games, because here's the sin of Poles and Eberflus. They took somebody else's pick. and they wouldn't even bring in anybody to compete against them.
Yep.
And they didn't play them. That's on them.
Yep.
That's a shame on you. Shame on you.
Yep. Here's the way I look at it, Mike. Here's the schedule.
Oh!
How about that for a busy graphic? Week 13 is the bye week. So I'm giving Justin Fields 12 weeks to prove to me that he should be the Bears quarterback into the future. If he has not proven that, Tyson Bagent, you're playing week 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. What do you think of my idea?
What happens, Al, if they're 0-11? They're not going to stay that long. I think 8 weeks is good. If you want to maybe give or take, I'll even look, this would be me and Al discussing what we're going to do with Justin Fields if we were working together. I'd say, you know what, Al, let's split the difference.
Okay.
I'll give him week 9, week 10. Let's go. Let's see how he does. But if he can't pick it up within the next, especially against Denver and Washington, if we lose those games, see, look, if they could win one of those, okay, it gets him back on his feet. Nobody needs to win more than him. But I find it, you can't give a guy 12 wins that's 5-23. You can't give a guy 12 weeks. He's got to win a game, Al. He's got to make the team around him better. Play any way you want. You're fighting for your life. If they want to sit you because you're ad-libbing, I don't think he's ad-libbing. He's missing guys all over the place. And we'll see what happens. He just can't pull the trigger right now. He's lost his confidence.
Yeah, I like your idea. Now, the week 10 game is a Thursday night game. So if you
get Stroud.
Exactly. Oh my God.
So I think Stroud, look, they're little. Bryce Young is little too. I mean, my God. I mean, what's everybody thinking? Yeah. I mean, some of these guys, I don't know how long they're going to make it. Yeah. But you hope it works out for them.
Yeah, I would split the difference with you and say bring in Bagent then on week 11 because he'll have 10 days to prepare after that Thursday night game.
That's a good idea. And I'll say this too for Justin Fields. I thought you were the worst quarterback in the league. Zach Wilson.
Hold my beer.
Oh my God. I watched it. Now Joe Namath took off on him today.
Oh yeah.
He said, "Hey, when Joe Namath, that's like Jesus Christ taking off on one of the apostles." Okay, bring that lady for me. I talked to her earlier. You know, there are a bunch of bachelors get together for a final supper and stuff like that. Always found that odd. Yeah, they could have. There were no big restaurants at the time, so they probably got together at somebody's house. But when I watched Zach Wilson, gone. They shouldn't even be looking at him. They wouldn't. They don't want Justin Fields either. These are the two worst quarterbacks right now in football. But they've held on to Zach Wilson too long, and they should have been out looking already for a quarterback. I think maybe they feel because they won a game, they got maybe another week or two, but it's going to be a disaster. I just find it interesting that we're being lectured by Stephen A., by my buddy Mike Greenberg, saying that, things are in disarray. With the Bears, when you're Jet fans. That's special. That's like vomit calling diarrhea. Like vomit calling diarrhea, you smell like roses. I mean, come on. I mean, Greenberg, Mikey's got the footy pajamas, the Aaron Rodgers jersey, and they're telling the Bears, who have been in more Super Bowls than the Jets. Okay? Yep. Come on now, guys. What do you think of a guy named Orlovsky? Danny, God bless, that said he'd be an MVP someday.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're allowed to do. Then they go, "Hey, did you hear that? Let's put him on Monday Night Football. He is smart." Wow,
that's hilarious.
Wow.
All right, I think we've covered it all. 50 minutes of Mike North's press conference. Before I let you go,
Aldo.
Yeah, before I let you go, please talk to us about the Chicago Cubs. I believe they're one game up on the wild card. Are they in for sure now? What's going on?
Well, we got a few games left. They said goodbye, and they all sing the "Hey, hey, holy mackerel" song, or "Go Cubs, go." The team sang to the fans, which was just a perfect send-off as they walk to Atlanta. How are you, everybody? We're the Atlanta Braves. I'm worried. We got one game lead. We got games left. I'm worried. And don't forget, Arizona beat our ass this year. So they got that tiebreaker. So it's almost like an even thing. We got to win one of the three. Hope the other teams are tanking. Cincinnati's gone into the tank a little bit. Arizona is one game back, thank God. But they handled us. If we don't win it, And once again, I can't do both, be the Bears GM and also be in charge of telling Jed Hoyer to keep the team like I did 4 days before. I mean, how much can one man do? Jed, I told you, keep the team together. You kept it together. Now look. But we're not out of the woods yet. Steele's going. Big game for him. Big game for him. Big game for the team, but they've showed a little. I mean, Colorado came at the right time. That's all I'm going to tell you. Colorado Rockies came at the right time, so let's go.
Before we go, Mike Withrow is upset that I haven't put at least one of his comments up. Let's put this one and react to it.
Get up there.
He's asking, wouldn't it be better to start Bagent against Denver and Washington? Give Fields a couple of weeks to take the pressure off. If Bagent sucks, then Fields may come in a new man. That's an interesting thought, Mike.
Except for one thing, they don't want that to happen right now. They don't want Bagent to go 14 of 21 for 260 yards and 1 touchdown for some reason. I mean, I saw the kid in preseason. Once again, the mistake was not developing Justin Fields. And they sat Mitch and they sat the starters when Mitch was here. I mean, I never understood it. Now, they purposely did this. The first 2 weeks of the regular season are like preseason now. The football was horrible. Better this week. But they purposely said, we need 3 games just so our guys don't get hurt. Then they don't play them. It's all scam. It's all scam. But the Bears if I took over next year, I'd invite any second stringer available. I'd invite Mitch. I'd invite 3-4 other guys, and I'd have Fields back, okay, during the offseason. All right, and I'd have competition. And then from there, I would make my moves. Period. End of story.
Outstanding. Now, Mike in the chat room and everyone else watching on our Facebook page, on Twitter, and here on YouTube, I'd like you to do us one favor. Next time you have some jewelry needs, please check out Rahl Jewelers. These guys are fantastic. Mike, tell us about your experiences at Rahl Jewelers and how great they are.
Well, first of all, Brad Gams is a dear friend, and he's made it possible for me to turn down a couple other offers that were equal on podcasting. Aldo knows this because I'm getting paid more. I mean, that's the way this guy is. He's a von Steuben kid, made his bones, 41 years in the business. He has a wonderful family. You walk in. Look, here's what I would tell everybody. I dealt in retail since I was a kid. I used to collect for the Chicago American. I used to haggle with customers. This is the tip, stuff like that. I'm 12 going, you're kidding, right? I can't even buy snaps with this, okay? And they were 2 cents a box. But they're wonderful people. He's got wonderful friends. I play golf with him every year. We go out to his store. We got Raging Mouth coming up. It's been Aldo hasn't been feeling completely up to par since the surgery. He's only gotten, then the Bear stuff's come up. So we said, hey, well, we're going to throw this at you too. We'll do a Bear show for you since you've been so generous. And Aldo's coming back stronger every single day, but it's no joke. When you don't feel, when you're coming back from something that I can't believe you're back this fast, to be honest with you, but he's still got some, and you get energy, I mean, he's like a guy that's 71 at 9:30. That's me, 9:30 at night. I'm like this watching Deion last week. Remember when you were in school? Remember you were in school?
Oh yeah.
Like this. I used to run at 2 a.m. going, what's open next? And now at 2 a.m, I'm on my 4th piss. It's a sad thing.
That is great. And Mike says Rahl Jewelers are great, if for no other reason than supporting this show, one of the best, along with the Greg Gabriel Show. Thank you, Mike, very much, and thank you all for listening and being a part of the Barroom Network. And thank you again to Rahl Jewelers. Bye-bye, everybody.